So, I'm rereading Twilight in the Year of Our Elder 2025 because is it as good or bad as I remember? Bella Swan. Why is Bella Swan a little cruel? And I get it, you know, teenager. I am an adult reading this, so I do not understand the thought process of her mom allowing her to just dip out, like go to another state for an entire like semester. Like, I think that's so weird. That was chapter 1. See you next time for chapter 2.
Here's some really quick ASMR. My main goal is to get you dreamland as quickly as possible. You have been staying up far too late. I think it's time for bed.
So, I'm rereading Twilight in the Year of Our Elder 2025 because is it as good or bad as I remember? Bella Swan. Why is Bella Swan a little cruel? And I get it, you know, teenager. I am an adult reading this, so I do not understand the thought process of her mom allowing her to just dip out, like go to another state for an entire like semester. Like, I think that's so weird. That was chapter 1. See you next time for chapter 2.
Here's some really quick ASMR. My main goal is to get you dreamland as quickly as possible. You have been staying up far too late. I think it's time for bed.
So, I'm rereading Twilight in the Year of Our Elder 2025 because is it as good or bad as I remember? Bella Swan. Why is Bella Swan a little cruel? And I get it, you know, teenager. I am an adult reading this, so I do not understand the thought process of her mom allowing her to just dip out, like go to another state for an entire like semester. Like, I think that's so weird. That was chapter 1. See you next time for chapter 2. in the year of our elder, 2025, because is it as good or bad as I remember? Bella Swan. Why is Bella Swan a little cruel? And I get it, you know, teenager. I am an adult reading this, so I do not understand the thought process of her mom allowing her to just dip out, like go to another state for an entire like semester. Like, I think that's so weird. That was chapter 1. See you next time for chapter 2.
Can you hear me now, perhaps? Hello? Am I heard? Oh my goodness. Welcome in, everyone, to this, I guess, special edition of Christmas, Ritual Fridays. Hello, welcome. Let me pull out my chat so I can see what's going on exactly. We've got snow, that's right. Oh, wow. Some of the, oh, thank you for gifting Dragon a subscription. Lovely. Make sure to say thank you. And I guess let me get all the intros and stuff out. Hello, my name is Grimoire Index, and today, my dears, we are going to be reading some Brothers Grimm by the Fire. And I think our Ritual Fridays probably needs a new name, so we are going with Firelight Fridays, where you can see your Grimm by the firelight. Hopefully this is a good change. There is a very noisy car outside right now. Yes, Firelight Fridays. Let me cup your ears a little bit. So, today we are going to be reading some more Brothers Grimm. Whether the fire is a cozy fire or a burning inferno is another question. Yeah, it's, well, whatever you'd like it to be, really. Regardless of such. Does the clip command still work? Yeah, I think my commands may have broken. Oh, RoboCrow is here. There we go. He just takes a little bit of time. Just give him a little bit of time. he's slow. He's new. RoboCrow is new, so he's really trying his best. Dial-up noises. Eventually, as a little, I guess I can reveal a little bit of your Christmas present. I will be working on a little RoboCrow for you guys as your Christmas present. Oh, and we have 2 chats on screen. Oh. Okay. I don't know what kind of Christmas playlist is this, but makes me want to dance. This is my kind of Christmas, huh? Anyway, but RoboCrow will be joining us at some point soon, TM. Oh, we have 2 chats. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. I have fixed it already. I have fixed it. What? Oh, you can't hear the background music? You can't hear this beautiful Christmas music? Hold on. Hold on. No. We're gonna run that back. We're running that back. It's so good. What? I'm tempted to make this a routine. I need to make a dancing crow emote. The feather fuffle. Okay. Alright, let me turn this down. Can you still hear the music? Okay, good. Gonna turn it down just a tad more. And yeah. None of my redeems are going to be the daily check-in redeem. Checky is going to be remade because I had to uninstall the program so this way StreamerBot could work correctly. But the card did drop down before. Yeah, the card will drop down because that's through StreamerBot, but the name won't change. let's change this to just chatting. And, yeah. It didn't this time, though. Yeah, it's very weird. Do we have the GIF to replace the... Do we have a GIF to replace the default Twitch redeem one? Not yet, no. I would have to make something. Fair, fair. Okay, okay. Jesus. That's a little loud for me. Can we go back to, like, some royalty-free snow falling? No rain stick. There we go. There we go. Some nice lo-fi. Alrighty. Are you all excited for some Brothers Grimm? I put us on just chatting. The audio visualizers have doubled up. I just noticed. Oh my goodness, what is going on today? Oh. Why are there two of them? Well, I like the bigger ones. So where are these smaller ones at? I see. Okay. There we are. So now we just have one of them, as opposed to both. Okay. Are you ready to start reading? Maybe the smaller one has greater personality. Well, everyone knows that there's, regardless of the size, it's the motion of the ocean. So, let us see. Let's get our Grimm fairy tales up. I was told that we are going to do the singing bone first. Let me grab some water. Are you all ready? Okay. Welcome in, welcome in. Unfortunately, my redeems are a little wonky today, So it's just gonna be me and, stream. But, let's begin our first story. In a certain country there was In a certain country there was once great lamentation of a wild boar that laid waste to the farmers' fields, killed the cattle, ripped up people's bodies with his tusks. The king promised a large reward to anyone who would free the land from this plague, but the beast was so big and strong that no one dared go near the forest in which it lived. At last, the king gave notice that whoever should capture or kill the wild boar, they should have his only daughter to wife. Now, there lived in the country 2 brothers, sons of a poor man, who declared themselves willing to undertake the hazardous enterprise. The elder, who was crafty and shrewd, out of pride; the youngest, who was innocent and simple, from a kind heart. The king said, "In order that you may be the more sure of finding the beast, you must go into the forest from opposite sides." So the elder went in on the west side, and the younger on the east. When the younger one had gone a short way, the little man stepped up to him, held in his hand a black spear, and said, "I give you this spear because your heart is pure and good. With this you can boldly attack the wild boar, and it will do you no harm." He thanked the little man, and shouldered the spear, and went on fearlessly. Before long he saw the beast, which rushed at him, but he held the spear towards it, and in its blind fury it ran so swiftly against it that its heart was cloven in twain. Then he took the monster on his back, and went homeward with it towards the king. And as he came out the other side of the wood, there stood an entrance where people were making merry with wine and dancing. His elder brother had gone in here, and thinking that after all the boar would not run away from him, was going to drink until he felt brave. But when he saw his younger brother coming out of the wood laden with his booty, his envious and evil heart gave him no peace. He called out to him, "Come in, dear brother. Rest and refresh yourself with a cup of wine." The youth, who suspected no evil, went in and told him about the good little man who had given him the spear, wherewith he had slain the boar. The elder brother kept him there until evening, and then they went away together. And when in the darkness they came to a bridge over a brook, the eldest brother let the other go first. When he was halfway across, gave him such a blow from behind that he fell down dead. He buried him beneath the bridge, took the boar, and carried it to the king, pretending that he had killed it, and whereupon he had obtained the king's daughter in marriage. And when his younger brother did not come back, he said the boar must have killed him, and everyone believed it. But nothing remains hidden from God, so this black deed was also to come to light. Years afterwards, a shepherd was driving his herd across the bridge, and saw lying in the sand beneath a snow-white little bone. He thought it would make a good mouthpiece, so he clambered down, picked it up, and cut it out of a mouthpiece for his horn. But when he blew through it for the first time, to his great astonishment, the bone began to sing of its own accord. Ah, friend, thou blowest upon my bone. Long I have lain beside the water. My brother slew me for the boar, and took for his wife the king's young daughter. Oh, what a wonderful horn, said the shepherd. It sings by itself. We must take it to my lord the king. And when he came with it to the king, the horn again began to sing its little song. The king understood it all, and caused the ground below the bridge to be dug up, and then the whole skeleton of the murdered man came to light. The wicked brother could not deny the deed, and was sewn up into a sack and drowned. But the bones of the murdered man were laid to rest in a beautiful tomb in the churchyard. And that was The Singing Bone. Did you enjoy that little story? Short but sweet. I really enjoy that one. Huh. If you know the Grimm fairy tales, feel free to, request some. I don't mind reading what you like. Nice. It was pretty humorous. Oh. Silly. Anyway. Oh, let me sit down. Oh my goodness, I've been standing this entire time. How awkward has that been? I'm so sorry. Did you know if you take your funny bone and put it in a stew, you'll have a laughing stop? Why are you like this? Why? What happened to you? What? Huh? It was pretty good. How do you have these puns? Oh my goodness. Alright. Is it this one? Yeah. Sit down. What? That... Am I not allowed to sit down? Oh, I am sitting. No wonder. Don't zoom in there. This, VTube Studio is trying to get me set up. It seems Grimm has a bone to pick with our puns. You know, it is just as I expected. Huh? Oh. Bonked in VTube Studio? Oh. Alright. Let's read our next story, shall we? I mean, we can also chat too. I mean, this is just chatting. It's a little different than what I'm used to. You know, despite my appearance and, you know, bloody lip and everything else, but, I actually find the holidays kind of charming. It's nice. It's fun. It's gentle. I love the holidays. I love snow. I always love it when it snows. Snow gives me such a, exhilaration. I love it so much. Stories and chill out are always appreciative. Well, thank you. Well, I'm glad you're appreciating what I'm doing today. Get nice and cozy and let's read another story, shall we? Ooh. Let's read The Fisherman and His Wife. There once was a fisherman and his wife who lived together in a hovel by the seashore. And the fisherman went out every day with his hook and line to catch a fish, and he angled and angled. One day he was sitting with his rod and looking into the clear water, and he sat and sat. At last down went the line to the bottom of the water, and when he drew it up, he found a great flounder on the hook. And the flounder said to him, "Fisherman, listen to me. Let me go. I am not a real fish, but an enchanted prince. What good shall I be to you if you land me? I shall not taste well, so put me back into the water again, and let me swim away." "Well," said the fisherman, "no need of so many words about the matter. As you can speak, I'd had much rather let you swim away." Then he put him back into the clear water, and the flounder sank to the bottom, leaving a long streak of blood behind him. Then the husband got up and went home to his wife in their hovel. "Well, husband," said the wife, "have you caught nothing today?" "No," said the man. "That is, I did catch a flounder, but he said he was an enchanted prince. I let him go again." "Then did you wish for nothing?" said the wife. "No," said the man. "What should I wish for?" "Oh dear," said the wife. "And it is so dreadful to always live in this evil-smelling hovel. You might as well have wished for a little cottage. Go again and call him. Tell him we want a little cottage. Dare I say he will give it to us. Go, and be quick." And when he went back, the sea was green and yellow, and not nearly so clear. And so he stood and said, oh man, if man you be, or flounder, in the sea, such a tiresome wife I've got, for she wants what I do not." And the flounder came swimming up and said, "Now then, what does she want?" "Oh," said the man, "you know when I caught you, my wife said I ought to have wished for something. She does not want to live any longer in that hovel, and would rather have a cottage." "Go home with you," said the flounder. "She has it already." So the man went home, and found, instead of a hovel, a little cottage, and his wife was sitting on a bench before the door. And she took him by the hand and said to him, "Come in and see if this is not a great improvement." And so they went in, and there was a little house place, and a beautiful little bedroom, a kitchen and larder, with all sorts of furniture, and iron and brassware of the very best. And at the back was a little yard, with fowls and ducks, and a little garden full of green vegetables and fruit. "Look," said the wife, "is that not nice?" "Yes," said the man. "If this can only last, we shall be very well contented." "Well, we'll see about that," said the wife. And after a meal they went to bed. And so all went well for a week or fortnight, when the wife said, "Look here, husband, the cottage is really too confined, and the yard and garden are so small. I think the flounder had better get us a larger house. I think I should very much like to live in a large stone castle. So go to your fish, and he will send us a castle." "Oh, my dear wife," said the man, "the cottage is good enough. What do we want a castle for?" "We want one," said the wife. "Go along with you. The flounder can give us one." "Now, wife," said the man, the flounder gave us the cottage. I do not like to go to him again. He may be angry." "Go along," said the wife. "He may just as well give it to us as not. Do as I say." The man feeling very reluctant and unwilling, and he says to himself, "It is not the right thing to do." Nevertheless, he went. So when he came to the seaside, the water was purple and dark blue and gray and thick, not green and yellow as before. And he stood and said, oh man, if man you be, or flounder, in the sea, such a tiresome wight I've got, for she wants what I do not." "Now then, what does she want?" says the flounder. "Oh," says the man, half frightened, "she wants to live in a large stone castle. Go home with you. She's already standing before the door," said the flounder. Then the man went home, and as he supposed, but when he got there stood in the place of the cottage a great castle of stone, and his wife was standing on the steps, about to go in. So she took him by the hand and said, "Let us enter." And with that he went in with her, and the castle was a great hall with marble pavement, and there was a great many servants who led them through large doors, and the passages were decked with tapestry, and the rooms with golden chairs and tables, and crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, and all the rooms had carpets, and all the tables were covered with eatables and the best wine for anyone who wanted them. And at the back of the house was a great stable yard for horses, cattle, and carriages of the finest. Besides, there was a splendid large garden with the most beautiful flowers and fine fruit trees, and a pleasance of half a mile long, with deer and oxen and sheep, and everything the heart could wish for. "There," said the wife, "is this not beautiful?" "Oh yes," said the man, "and if it would only last, we could live in this fine castle and be very well contented." "We'll see about that," said the wife. "In the while we will sleep on it." And with that they went to bed. The next morning the wife was awake first, just at the break of day, and she looked out and saw from her bed the beautiful country lying all around. The man took no notice of it, so she poked him in the side with her elbow and said, "Husband, get up and just look out the window. Look, just think if we could be king over all of this country. Just go to your fish and tell him we should like to be king." "Now, wife," said the man, what should we be kings for? I don't want to be a king." "Well," said the wife, "if you don't want to be king, I will be king." "Now, wife," said the man, "what do you want to be king for?" "I could not ask him such a thing." "Why not?" said the wife. "You must go directly all the same. I must be king." It is not the right thing to do, not at all the right thing, thought the man. He did not want to go, and yet he went all the same. And when he came back to the sea, the water was quite dark grey, and rushed far inland, and had an ill smell. And he stood and said, oh man, if man you be, or flounder, in the sea, such a tiresome wife I've got, for she wants what I do not." Now then, what does she want? Said the fish. Oh dear, said the man, she wants to be king. Go home with you. She is already, said the fish. So the man went back, and as he came to the palace, he saw that it was very much larger, and had great towers and splendid gateways, and the heralds stood before the door, and a number of soldiers with kettle drums and trumpets. And when he came inside, everything was of marble and gold, and there were many curtains of great golden tassels. Then he went through the doors of the saloon to where the great throne room was, and there was his wife, sitting upon a throne of gold and diamonds, and she had a great golden crown on, and the scepter in her hand was of pure gold and jewels. And on each side stood 6 pages in a row, and with each one a head shorter than the other. So when the man went up to her and said, Well, wife, now you are king. Yes, said the wife, now I am king. So then he stood and looked at her, and when he had gazed at her for some time, he said, Well, wife, this is fine for you to be king. Now there is nothing more to wish for. Oh, husband, said the wife, seeming quite restless, I'm tired of this already. Go to your fish and tell him now that I am king. I must be emperor. Now, wife, said the man, what do you want to be emperor for? Husband, she said, go and tell the fish I want to be emperor. Oh dear, said the man, he could not do. I could not ask him for such a thing. But there is only one emperor at a time, and the fish cannot possibly make one emperor. Indeed he can't. Now look here, said the wife, I am king, and you are only my husband, so you will go at once. Go along, for if he were able to make me a king, he is able to make me emperor, and I will and must be emperor. So go along. So he was obliged to go, and he went. He felt very uncomfortable about it, and he thought, it is not all right, at all the right thing to do. To want to be emperor is really going too far, and the flounder was soon beginning to get tired of this. With all that he came to the sea, and the water was quite black and thick, and the foam flew, and the wind blew, and the man was terrified. But he stood and said, O man, if man you be, or flounder in the sea, such a tiresome wife I've got, for she wants what I do not. What is it now? Said the fish. Oh dear, said the man, my wife wants to be emperor. Said the fish. My wife wants to be emperor. Go home with you, said the fish. She is emperor already. So the man went home, and found the castle adorned with polished marble, and alabaster figures, and golden gates. The troops were being marshaled before the door, and they were blowing trumpets, and beating drums and cymbals, and when he entered he saw barons, earls, dukes, waiting about like servants, and the doors were a bright gold. And then he saw his wife, sitting upon a throne made of one entire gold piece, and it was about 2 miles high, and she had a great golden crown on, which about 3 yards high, set with brilliants and carbuncles, and in one hand she held the scepter, and in the other the globe, and on both of her sides stood pages in 2 rows, all arranged according to their side, from the most ginormous giant of 2 miles high to the tiniest dwarf, the size of my little finger, and before her stood earls and dukes in crowds. And so the man went up to her and said, Well, wife, So now you are the emperor." "Yes," she said, "now I am emperor." Then he went and sat down and had a good look at her. And then he said, "Well, now, wife, there's nothing left to be. Now you are emperor." What are you talking about, husband?" she said. "I am emperor, and next I will be pope. So go and tell the fish so." "Oh dear," says the man. "What is it that you don't want? You can never be pope. There is only one pope in Christendom, and the fish possibly cannot do it. Husband," said she, "no more words about it. I must be pope, so go along to the fish." "Now, wife," said the man, "how can I ask him such a thing? It is too bad. It is asking a little too much. And besides, he could not do it." "What rubbish!" said the wife. "If he could make me emperor, then he can make me pope. Go along and ask him. I am emperor, and you are my only husband. So go you must." So he went, feeling very frightened. He shivered and shook, and his knees trembled, and there arose a great wind, and the clouds flew by, and it grew very dark, and the sea rose mountains high, and the ships were tossed about, and the sky was partly blue in the middle, but the sides were very dark and red as in a great tempest. And he felt very desponding, and stood trembling, and said, oh man, if man you be, or flounder in the sea, such a tiresome wife I've got, for what she wants I do not." "Well, what now?" said the fish. "Oh dear," said the man, "she wants to be pope. Go home with you. She is pope already." So he went home, and found himself before a great church, with palisades all around. He had to make his way through a crowd of people, and when he got inside, he found the place lightened up with thousands and thousands of life, and his wife was clothed in a golden garment, and sat upon a very high throne, and had 3 golden crowns on, all in the greatest priestly pomp, and on both sides of her there stood 2 rows of lights of all sizes, from the size of the longest tower to the smallest rushlight, and all the emperors and kings were kneeling before her and kissing her foot. "Well, wife," said the man, and sat and stared at her, "so now you are pope?" "Yes," she said, "now I am pope." And he went on gazing at her till he felt dazzled, as if he were sitting in the sun. And after a while, after a little time, he said, "Now, wife, what is there left to be, now that you are pope?" She sat up very stiff and straight and said nothing. "Well, wife, I hope you are contented at last, being pope. You can be nothing more." "We'll see about that," said the wife, and with that they both went to bed. But she was far as ever from being contented, and she could not get to sleep for thinking about what she should be like next. The husband, however, slept fast atop after his busy day, but the wife tossed and turned from side to side the night through, thinking all the while what she could be next, but nothing would occur to her, and when she saw the red dawn, she slipped off the bed, and stood before the window to see the sun rise, and as it came up, she said, "Ah, I have it! What if I shall make the sun and moon to rise husband?" She cried, and stuck her elbow in his ribs. "Wake up, and go to your fish. and tell him I want power over the sun and moon." The man was so fast asleep, but when he startled, he fell out of bed, and shook himself together, and opened his eyes, and said, "O wife, what did you say?" "Husband," said she, "if I cannot get the power of making the sun and moon rise when I want them, then I shall never have another quiet hour. Go to the fish and tell him so." "O wife," said the man, and he fell on his knees to her, "the fish really cannot do that for you. I grant you he could make you emperor and pope, but do be contented with that, I beg of you." And she became wild with impatience and screamed out, "I can wait no longer! Go at once!" And so off he went, and as well as he could for fright, for a dreadful storm arose, so that he could hardly keep his feet, and the houses and trees were blown down, and the mountains trembled, and the rocks fell into the sea, and the sky was quite black, and it thundered and lightened, and the waves, crowned with foam, ran mountains high, and he cried out without being able to hear his own words, oh man, if man you be, if flounder and fish in the sea, for such a tiresome wife I've got, for what she wants, I do not." Well, what now? "Oh dear," said the man. "She wants to order about the sun and the moon." Go home with you," said the flounder, "and you will find her in the old hovel." And that is where they are sitting to this very day. Let me read that again. "Oh dear," said the man, "she wants to order about the sun and the moon." Go home with you," said the flounder, "and you will find her in the old hovel. And there they are sitting to this very day." Oh, wow. And that was The Fisherman and His Wife. This ended very differently to the one I know. That's really funny. I don't necessarily understand it. Is it that she's blind now? Oh, also, I wanted to ask you all, if you don't mind, lurkers or non-lurkers or whoever else, everyone listening, I would like to get YouTube partner sooner, so if you have an additional device, please tune in on YouTube as well. That would be most appreciative. Thank you. But you don't have to, but yeah. So, this one I know, she asked for 3 things, big things in mind, and the third one's the husband asks and gets fed up and asks for the fish for their old humble life, and both are actually much happier for it. Which also feels like a very fable-like ending. I would have kept the cottage, honestly. The cottage was really nice. I like cottages. Oh. Yeah, both are good. Honestly, I'm not really feeling this music. I think I would prefer just kind of like a fireplace. There we go. Can you guys hear the fireplace a little? I think I'd like that a little more, honestly. Good, good, good. So this way we can really get in there, get in that nice holiday spirit. I have drafted up the new emotes, doing a little bit of housekeeping. I drafted up the new emotes, and they should be done maybe towards next week. There's some stickers and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to get everything ready for the donathon. I don't know whether to do a donathon or a subathon, but I think a donathon would be better for me. I'll let you guys decide. Doesn't matter. Either way, that's not happening anytime soon. That will be happening in like February. So we've got some time. It's like a little... Sorry, you all. Huh? Can we just... It was testing my patience. Anyway, do you all have holiday plans? I am planning on probably looking into the late returns pile, maybe processing some new books, or playing some old games. I've been really thinking about playing some old dress-up games from back in the day. Do you remember those? Oh, I was watching the video game awards, right? And I saw that they are doing the original Tomb Raider again. All I could only hope for, right? All I could hope for is that, yes, the Claire Obscura Awards. All I could hope for is that they bring back the old PS1 swimming. Do you all remember the old PS1 like tank swimming, where it was you were fighting, you know, everything in creation to just make your character move under the slurry and muck of water? Silksong Award. I don't even think... Did Silksong even win anything? I don't think Silksong won anything. Or at least I don't recall them winning anything. It got one award. Dang. I know Hideo Kojima was just like hot because he didn't get anything at all. He was probably like, why am I here? Why am I here? Always good. It's always a good thing to see Dad, though. I love him. That was Claire Obscura that won Best Indie Game. And Best Indie Debut. Because, you know, fair. I agree. That is my one hot take about the Game Awards. I do not think that they should have been allowed that Claire Obscura should have been even in the indie categories, even though technically, yes, it is an indie game, but I feel like it had so much budget behind it. Like that was not an indie game. Mm. Also, where was the love in Deep Space love? Where was that at? Well, I mean, Love in Deep Space doesn't love its own game, so. Whew. A lot of the Xavier mains from that game have left because of the treatment of the myth card that we got. So, yeah, it's kind of sad. It is, tragically, it only costs 10 million apparently. That costs are indie these days. Yeah, that's crazy. Pocket change practically. Yeah, just $10 million. It's like a penny I found on the floor. Don't even pick it up, just throw it away. All right, let's go ahead and read our next story. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing enough reading in between, like, talking segments. In storage containers owned by the high school chem teacher. Yeah. So that's why they can do their little experiments. That's just how little $10 million is. Budget, industry backing, yada yada. I know it's vibe based, that's entirely an indie, but it's vague and hard to pin down since Clair Obscura doesn't feel like an indie game to me in spirit. But then again, I think that the indie awards should be for smaller, more niche titles that never got to be in the running for Game of the Year or whatever. I think you could rightly make the same argument for Silksong and Hades too, though. But the thing is that, like, yeah, in that same vein, I feel like I shouldn't know anything about the indie titles debut. Like, I feel like I shouldn't know anything about them. Like, when I'm talking about indie, I want, something like Balatro. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Blueprints was great. Blueprints is fine. Huh? Thank you for the posture check and the hydrate. Very, very good. And I have my water right here. And, oops, sorry. Also, I burned the hell out of my hand today. It was rough. I was making some food for Grim Graham, and she wanted a grilled cheese sandwich, but she wanted it made in a particular way. Like, it was very weird. She wanted it made in, like, a really awkward way. So I had to it was really weird. Okay, so she told me that I needed to toast the bread, and then once the bread was like half toasted, butter the side that wasn't brown, and then wait for that to toast up, and then put the cheese and then toast it. As opposed to, me doing everything on like a skillet, which is what I'm used to. So I do it that way, and I go and I touch my finger brushes against the top heating element of the toaster oven I'm using, And yeah, I start to smell like chicken. And I'm like, ah! So now I have a very nice burn mark on my pointer finger. Very fun. Ouch. That's asking too much, honestly. Hey, but I want to make sure that she's eating and that she's being well taken care of, so it's kind of whatever. Mm. I also wanted to ask you what you wanted to do more of on Ritual Fridays. While I get, obviously, the next story ready. Mm. Because, obviously I know you guys like the Brothers Grimm, and maybe you'll like, Hans Christian Andersen, like some Little Mermaids and stuff like that, those types of stories. Maybe I could read you some old Agatha Christie. My favorite author, honestly. Well, one of my favorite authors. There are a couple of books of hers that are still in out of copyright. Mm. But let's read this story. The Three Little Men in the Wood. There once was a man whose wife was dead, and a woman whose husband was dead. And the man had a daughter, and so had the woman. The girls were acquainted with each other, and used to play together, sometimes in the woman's house. So the woman said to the man's daughter, "Listen to me. Tell your father that I will marry him, and then you shall have milk to wash in every morning and wine to drink, and my daughter shall have water to wash in and water to drink." And the girl went home and told her father what the woman had said. The man had said, "What shall I do? Marriage is a joy and also a torment." At last he could come to no conclusion. He took off his boot and said to his daughter, "Take this boot, for it has a hole in the sole. Go up with it into the loft and hang it from the big nail, and pour water into it. If it holds water, I will once more take to me a wife, and if it lets out the water, I will not." So the girl did as she was told, but the water held the whole together, and the boot was full up to the top. And she went and told her father how it was, and he went up to see with his own eyes, and there it was as no mistake about it. He went to the widow and courted her, and then they had the wedding. The next morning, when the two girls awoke, they stood there by the bedside of the man's daughter's milk to wash in and wine to drink, and by the bedside the woman's daughter there stood water to wash in and water to drink. And on the second morning there stood water to wash in and water for both of them alike. And on the third morning, there stood water to wash in and water to drink for the man's daughter, and milk to wash in and wine to drink for the woman's daughter. And so it remained ever after. The woman hated her stepdaughter, and never knew how to treat her badly enough from day one to another. And she was jealous because her stepdaughter was pleasant and pretty, and her real daughter was ugly and hateful. Once in the winter, when it was freezing hard, and snow lay deep on a hill in the valley, the woman made a frock out of paper, and called her stepdaughter, and said, "Here, put on this frock, and go out into the wood and fetch me a basket of strawberries. I have a great wish for some." "Oh dear," said the girl, "there are no strawberries to be found in winter. The ground is frozen, and the snow covers everything. And why should I go with this in? Why should I go in with this paper frock? It is so cold out of doors that one's breath is frozen. The wind will blow through it, and the thorns will tear it off my back." "How dare you contradict me?" cried the stepmother. "Be off, and don't let me see you again until you bring me a basket of strawberries," and then gave her a little piece of hard bread, and said, "That will do you to eat during the day." And she thought to herself, "She's surely to be frozen or starved to death out of doors, and I shall never set eyes on her again." And so the girl went obediently, put on the paper frock, and started out with the basket. The snow was lying everywhere, far and wide, and there was not a blade of green to be seen. When she entered the wood, she saw a little house with 3 little men peeping out of it. She wished them good day, and knocked modestly at the door. They called her in, and she came into the room and sat by the side of the oven to warm herself and eat her breakfast. The little man said, "Give us some of it." "Willingly," answered she, breaking the little piece of bread in 2, and giving them half. Then they said, "What are you doing here in the wood this winter time, in your little thin frock?" "Oh," answered she, "I have to get a basket of strawberries, and I must not go home without them." When she had eaten her bread, they gave her a broom, and told her to go sweep the snow away from the back door. And when she had gone outside to do it, the little men talked among themselves about what they should do for her, as she was so good and pretty, and they had shared her bread with them. She had shared their bread with them. Then the first one said, "She shall grow prettier every day." The second said, "Each time she speaks, a piece of gold shall fall from her mouth." The third said, "A king shall come and take her for his wife." Meanwhile the girl was doing as the little men had told her, and had cleared the snow from the back of the little house. And what do you suppose she found? Fine, ripe strawberries, showing dark red against the snow. Then she joyfully filled her little basket full, thanked the little men, shook hands with them all, and ran home in haste to bring her stepmother the thing she longed for. And when she went in and said, "Good evening," a piece of gold fell from her mouth at once. And then she related all that happened to her in the wood, and at each word she spoke, gold pieces fell out of her mouth, so that soon they were scattered all over the room. "Just look at her pride and conceit, throwing money all about in this way." But in her heart of hearts she was jealous because of it, and wanted too to go into the wood to fetch strawberries. But the mother said, "No, my dear little daughter, it is too cold, and you will be frozen to death." But it left her no peace. So at last the mother gave in, and got her a splendid fur coat to put on, and gave her bread and butter and cakes to eat on the way. The girl went into the wood, and walked straight up to the little house. The 3 little men peeped out again, but she gave them no greeting, and without looking around or taking any notice of them, she came slumping into the room, sat herself down by the oven, and began to eat her bread and butter and cakes. "Give us some of that," cried the little man. But she answered, "I've not got any for myself. How can I give away any?" And then when she was done with your eating, they said, "Here's a broom. Go and sweep it all clean by the back door." "Oh, go and do it yourself," answered she. "I am not your housemaid." But when she saw they were not going to give her anything, she went out by the door. And then the little men said amongst themselves, "What shall we do to her, because she is so unpleasant, and has such a wicked, jealous heart, grudging everybody and everything?" The first said, "She shall grow uglier every day." The second said, "Every time she speaks, a toad shall jump out of her mouth at every word." The third said, She shall die a miserable death." The girl was looking outside for strawberries, but she found none. So she went sulkily home, and directly she opened her mouth to tell her mother what had happened in the wood, a toad sprang out of her mouth at each word, so that everyone who came near her was quite disgusted. The stepmother became more and more set against the man's daughter, whose beauty increased day by day, and her only thought was how to do her some injury. So at last she took a kettle, set it on fire, and scalded some yarn in it. And when she was ready, she hung it over the poor girl's shoulder, and gave her an axe, and she was to go into the frozen river, and to break a hole into the ice, there to wrench the yarn. And she obeyed, and went and heaved a hole into the ice, and when she was about there, came a splendid coach, in which the king sat. The coach stood still, and the king said, "My child, who art thou? And what art thou doing here?" She answered, "I am a poor girl, and I am rinsing yarn." Then the king felt pity for her, and as she saw that she was very beautiful, he said, "Will you go with me?" "Oh, yes, with all my heart," answered she, and she felt very glad to be out of the way of her mother and sister. So when she stepped into the coach and went off with the king, and when they reached his castle, the wedding was celebrated with great splendor, and the little men in the wood, as the little men in the wood had foretold. And at the end of the year, the young queen had a son, and as the stepmother had heard of her great fortune, came with her daughter to the castle, and was merely to pay the king and queen a visit. One day, when the king had gone out, and when nobody was about, the bad woman took the queen by the head, and her daughter took her by the heels, and dragged her out of bed, and threw her out the window onto a stream that flowed beneath it. And the ugly woman put her ugly daughter in the bed, and covered her up to the chin. When the king came back, and wanted to talk to his wife a little, the old woman cried, "Stop, stop! She is sleeping so nicely, and she must be kept quiet today." The king dreamt of nothing wrong, and came again the next morning, and as he spoke to his wife, she answered him, and there each time out of her mouth a toad, instead of the piece of gold as therefore. He asked why that should be, and the old woman said, "It is because of her great weakness, and that it would pass away." But in the night the boy, who slept in the kitchen, saw how something of a likeness of a duck-swan swam up the gutter, and said, "My king, what makest thou? Sleepest thou, or wakest thou?" But there was no answer. Then it said, What cheer my two guests keep they?" So the kitchen boy answered, "In bed all sleeps they." It asks again, "And my little baby, how does he?" And he answered, "He sleeps in his cradle quietly." Then the duck took the shape of the queen, and went to the child, and gave him to drink, and smoothed his little bed, and covered him up, and then, in the likeness of a duck, swam back down the gutter. In this way she came 2 nights, and on the 3rd she said to the kitchen boy, "Go and tell the king to brandish his sword 3 times over me on the threshold." And the kitchen boy ran and told the king, and he came with his sword and brandished it 3 times over the duck. And on the 3rd his wife stood before him, living and hearty and sound, as she had been before. The king greatly rejoiced, but hid the queen in a chamber until Sunday came, when the child was to be baptized. And after the baptism he said, "What person who drags another out of bed throws him in the water?" And the old woman said, "No better to be put in a cask with iron nails in it, and to be rolled down the hill into the water." And then said the king, "You have spoken your own sentence." And then he ordered a cask to be fetched, and the old woman and her daughter were to be put in it, and the top hammered down, The cast was rolled down the hill into the river. The end. What a gruesome story, huh? That's... Moral of the story: give all your food and manual labor for free to random strangers in the woods. Yeah, I don't know though. I feel like if my sister was spitting gold out every time she spoke because she was kind, like I would start being a little nicer too, honestly. But yeah, only if they're short. If they're not short, then probably not. So like Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise. Is he short? Is Tom Cruise short? Oh, he's like 5'7". 5'7" isn't short. I mean, like, 5'7" isn't that bad. He's not like tall. He's not like 6 feet. Sweats and crow height. uh, what happened? Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Hi, YouTube. Just to make sure that you guys are doing well and that you're enjoying today's stream. I missed you guys too. Hi, YouTube. There's also this like overexposure game that I've been wanting to play. But we will definitely be playing that on whatever Wednesday, as opposed to our little cozy story time day. Hey, very tube of you. Oh, on Sunday, of course, we are going to be thinking about some mysterious... We're going to be discovering a mysterious briefcase. SCP or whatever. I heard there was something going on with the briefcase, so I wanted to know more about it. Maybe we could, learn a little bit about it together. Hey, tube of you. I hate that. I think it's like a time machine briefcase. I don't know. It's been a long time. We're all tube at the end of the day. Yeah, I guess you could say that we are all a series of tubes interlocked and interwoven together. It's so nice and cozy in here. I like that there's a little reindeer over here. There was a time where I was obsessed with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Obsessed. Like, you couldn't tell me anything. I had the little fuzzy, like, plushie from it, and I would hug it all the time, It was my best friend. I cried for weeks when the battery ran out for my little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer toy. I cried for weeks. And it smelled so bad, the little microfiber toy that I had. But I loved it so very much. It was my favorite thing to have. Father Crow hates the story of Rudolph. He highly disapproves of the moral. I feel was there a moral to the story? Briefcase and time travel sounds like 5,000. I think it is 5,000. Was there actually a moral to the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story? I don't remember there being one. That's your favorite SCP? Well, don't worry, we're going to be covering it. Hopefully it has lots of tails, because I love the ones that have lots of tails. Being different is okay as long as you're useful, is how he walks away from that. And, like, yeah, I kind of get it if he sees it that way. That's kind of what I took from it as well. I thought being different was okay. I didn't really extrapolate, being different is okay as long as you're useful. I just got being different is okay. But I could also see how it would be that way as well. It's a very... Whew. It's a very, it's kind of sad now that I think about it. Because, like, what if he was just a regular reindeer? He was just very, what if he was just a regular reindeer? Yeah. Yeah, he's only accepted when his nose is able to light the way and not a moment before, yeah. It's kind of sad. Would he have lived in isolation by himself forever? If, his nose didn't light up? There's also the, family favorite. I don't know if your family has, traditions like this, but there are a couple of movies that we watch. Obviously, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We watch that. We watch the Polar Express movie. I wonder if he's got those blinding high beams. Sorry, there was a car. But I wonder if he has those... Yeah, I feel like he has... I wonder if he has blinkers. Like, he can just blink his nose on and off, like, by, like, sniffing, just... and it'll just turn the light on. Like, what happens if he has a cold? Does it, like, change color? Does it change to green, you think? I think that would be funny. I think it would be funny. Oh, it's shiny nose. No, you could the lyric is you can even say it glows. I believe it's he has a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you can even say it glows. All of the other reindeer. Yeah. At least that's what I'm remembering. Let me look it up, actually. It's been a while. Okay, so like maybe it's a maybe yeah, I think it would be yeah, I think glows is being implied. Yeah, the old stop motion one. That's the one that that's the one that we like here. That's the one that is really popular. Is it the Franks and Bass special? Where? Yep, the Franks and Bass special. That's the one that I was obsessed with as a kid. I was obsessed. Obsessed. Yeah, the old animated Grinch. That's the good one. I love I genuinely love seeing like random influencers dress up as the Grinch and just go crazy for Christmas. That's like the best stuff, man. Xmas, whatever. Whatever you deem to call this holiday of capitalism and consumption. It's been a while since I've seen that. I've seen the snowman one. Whenever I hear Franks and Bash special, all I can think of is like um Frost Miser and Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Hot. Whatever I touch. Ah, what a good series. I feel like we should watch those. I think that would be fun. That would totally be What? Oh, we're watching that. Oh, I love that. Oh no, we're gonna watch all of that. That's one thing I do like. I like watching Christmas movies with some nice tea and cookies and a hat. Hold on. Hold on. I think I can also do this too. I can also put on a hat. This is very important. Oh, there's like a flower hat. Give me a second. What? Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. I think this is fine. I think this is okay. Now I'm feeling a little festive. Feeling a little festive. Hmm? Hmm? Feeling a little it certainly makes my head look a little bigger, huh? I think it's kind of nice. Okay, I actually hate Christmas movies besides The Grinch. Oh, come on. You don't have that same love and adoration when Grandma got run over by a reindeer appears. on your feed. I love that. That movie is probably one of my favorite Christmas movies. Unironically, just funny. It's so funny. And it's terrible. It is genuinely bad, but it is so funny to watch. Big question, is Die Hard a Christmas movie, or are you wrong? Yeah, Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie, yes. Um, let's see. What other things do I watch for Christmas? Well, before it was found out that she was crazy and like evil, uh yeah, I love the Polar Express. Yeah, that one's fun. Um Before she was crazy, we would do a HP marathon, but now that she's not a great person, we've all determined that she's not a great person, and that well, watching those movies would be putting money in her pocket. Um, yeah, she was taken by the mold demons. I've instead decided to just go watch Lord of the Rings instead. Lord of the Rings, I guess, will be the Christmas movie I watch. And plus, I get to see Legolas again. Meow. What other Christmas movies? I think like the best movie was The Inside of My Eyelids, because would just be out all the time. My eldest sister had a huge crush on Legolas. Oh, I loved him. Ooh, he is so cute. Oh my goodness. Legolas. I had a little thing for Aragon. I liked the King of the Elves in The Hobbit. I liked the King of the Elves. He was cute too. Um, the lady that was fighting the ring rapes, I like her too. Um, I was always confused as to why, like, Aragon's wife decided to become mortal. Like, I was always like I got it like sentimentally, like as a kid, but also I was just like, why would you do that? Like, what happens when you have children? Like they're gonna outlive you both. They will outlive you. Now you won't be able to enjoy anything. Also, there's the I I don't know. I feel like it would, excuse me. I felt like there was a little bit more thinking that needed to go on there, at least for me anyway. It is a little romantic too. Mm. Shall we read our next story? Mm. Mm. It might be time for me to get a new um what's up next? Let's see. Mm. Ah. I mm. we've got the 12 brothers. There was once a time a king and queen who lived happily together and had 12 children, but they were all boys. Then the king said to his wife, "If the 13th child which thou art to bring into the world is a girl, the 12 boys shall die, in order that her possessions may be great, and that the kingdom may fall to her alone." He caused likewise 12 coffins to be made, which were already filled with shavings, and in each lie a little pillow for the dead, and he had them taken to a locked-up room. Then he gave the queen the key to it, and bade her not to speak of this to anyone. The mother, however, now sat and lamented all day long, until the youngest son, who was always with her, and whom she had named Benjamin from the Bible, had said to her, "Dear mother, why art thou so sad?" "Dearest child," she answered, "I may not tell thee." But he let her have no rest until she went and unlocked the room, and showed him the 12 coffins ready filled with shavings. Then she said, "My dearest Benjamin, thy father had these coffins made for thee and for thy 11th brothers. For if I bring a little girl into the world, you are all to be killed and buried in them." And as she wept, while she said this, the son comforted her and said, "Weep not, dear mother, we shall save ourselves. Go hence." But she said, "Go forth in the forest with thy 11 brothers, and let one sit constantly on the highest tree which can be found, and keep watch towards the tower here in the castle. If I give birth to a little son, I will put up a white flag. Then you may venture to come back, but if I bear a daughter, I will hoist a red flag, and then fly as quickly as you are able, and may God, the good God, protect you. And every night I will rise up and pray for you, and in the winter, so that you may warm yourselves at a fire, and in summer, so that you may not faint away from the heat." And after she blessed her sons, therefore they went into the forest, and each they kept watch in turn, and sat on the highest oak, and looked towards the tower. When 11 days had passed, the turn came to Benjamin, and saw that a flag was raised. However, it was not the white, but the blood-red flag which announced that they were all to die. And when the brothers heard that, they were very angry, and said, "Are we all to suffer the death for the sake of a girl? We swear that we will avenge ourselves. Wheresoever we find a girl, her red blood shall flow." Thereupon they went deeper into the forest, and in the midst of it, where it was the darkest, they found a little bewitched hut, which was standing empty. Then they said, "Here we will dwell, and thou, Benjamin, who art the youngest and weakest, thou shalt stay home and keep house, and we others shall go out and get food." And then they went to the forest, and shot hares and wild deer, and pigeons and birds, and wheresoever there was to eat, they took this to Benjamin, who had to dress it for them, in order they might appease their hunger. They lived together 10 years in the little hut, and time did not appear long to them. The little daughter, which their mother, the queen, had given birth to, was now grown up. She was good of heart, fair of face, and had a golden star on her forehead. Once, when she was watching, she saw 12 men's shirts among the things, and asked her mother, "To whom do these 12 shirts belong?" for they are far too small for father." Then the queen answered with a heavy heart, "Dear child, these belong to thy 12 brothers," said the maiden. "Where are my 12 brothers? I have never yet heard of them," she replied. "God knows where they are. They are wandering about the world." Then she took the maiden and opened her chamber for her, and showed her the 12 little coffins, the 12 coffins with the shavings, and the pillows for the head. "These coffins," said she, "were destined for thy brothers, but they went away secretly before thou wert born." And she relayed to her how everything happened. And then said the maiden, "Dear mother, weep not. I will go and seek my brothers." And so she took the 12 shirts and went forth straight into the great forest. She walked for the whole day, and in the evening she came to the bewitched hut. And when she entered, found a young boy, who asked, "From whence came thou, and whither art thou bound?" and was astonished that she was so beautiful, and wore royal garments, and had a star on her forehead. And she answered, "I am the king's daughter, and I am seeking my 12 brothers, and I will walk as far as the sky is blue until I find them." And likewise she showed them the 12 shirts that had belonged to them. Then Benjamin saw that she was his sister, and said, "I am Benjamin, thy youngest brother." And she began to weep for joy, and Benjamin wept also. They kissed and embraced each other with the greatest of love. But after this he said, "Dear sister, there is one difficulty. We have agreed that every maiden whom we shall meet shall die, because we have been obliged to leave our kingdom on account of a girl." And then said she, "I will willingly die, if by doing so I can deliver my 12 brothers." "No," answered he, "thou shalt not die. Seat thyself beneath this tub until our 11 brothers come, and then I will soon come to an agreement with them." She did so, and when it was night the others came from hunting, and their dinner was ready. And as they were sitting at the table and eating, they asked, "What news is there?" Said Benjamin, "Do you know anything?" "No," they answered. He continued, "You have been in the forest, and I have stayed at home, yet I know more than you do." "Tell us then," they cried. He answered, "But promise me the first maiden who meets us shall not be killed." "Yes," they all cried. "She shall have mercy. Only do tell us." Then said he, "Our sister's here." He lifted up the tub, and the king's daughter came forth in her royal garments and the golden star on her forehead, and she was beautiful, delicate, and fair. Then they all were rejoiced, and fell on her neck, and kissed and loved her with all of their hearts. Now she stayed at home with Benjamin, and helped him with the work. The 11 went into the forest and caught game, deer, birds, and wood pigeons, so that they might have food, and the little sister and Benjamin took care to make it ready for them. She sought the wood for cooking, and the herbs for the vegetables, and put the pans on the fire so that dinner was always ready when the 11 came. She likewise kept the house in order, and put beautifully white clean coverings on little beds, and the brothers were always contented and lived in great harmony with her. Once a time the 2 at home had prepared a beautiful entertainment, where they were all together and sat down and ate and drank and were full of gladness. There was, however, a little garden that belonged to the bewitched house, wherein stood 12 lily flowers, which were likewise called students. She wished to give her brothers pleasure, and plucked the 12 flowers, and she thought she would present each brother with one while at dinner. But the same moment that she plucked the flowers, The 12 brothers were changed into 12 ravens and flew away over the forest, and the house in the garden vanished likewise. And now the poor maiden was alone in the wild forest, and when she looked around, an old woman was standing near her, and said, "My child, what hast thou done? Why did thou leave the white flowers growing? They were thy brothers, who are now evermore changed into ravens." The maiden sat weeping. "Is there no way of delivering them?" "No," said the woman. "There is one in the whole world, and that is so hard that thou wilt not deliver it by them, for thou must be dumb for 7 years, and may not speak nor laugh. If thou speakest one single word, and only an hour of the 7 years is waning, all is in vain, and thy brothers will be killed by the word." And then, the maiden in her heart, "I know with certainty that I shall set my brothers free, and went and sought a high tree, and seated herself in it, and in a span neither spoke nor laughed. Now it so happened that the king was hunting in a forest, and had a great greyhound that ran to the tree which the maiden was sitting, and sprang about it, whining and barking at her. Then the king came and saw the king's beautiful daughter with a golden star on her brow, and was so charmed by her beauty that he called her and asked if he would be his wife. She made no answer, but nodded a little with her little head. So he climbed up the tree himself, carried her down, and placed him on his horse, and bore her home. Then the wedding was solemnized with great magnificence. Solemnized, not sodomized. Solemnized. Oh, solemnized with great magnificence and rejoicing, but the bride never spoke nor smiled. When they lived happily together for a few years, the king's mother, who was a wicked woman, began to slander the young queen, and said to the king, "This is a common beggar girl who thou had brought back with thee, who knows what impious tricks she practices secretly. If she might be dumb and not be able to speak, she might still laugh for once, but those who do not laugh have bad consciences. At first the king would not believe it, but the old woman had urged this so long and accused her of many evil things that at last the king let himself be persuaded and sentenced her to death. Now at last a great fire was lighted in the courtyard, in which she was to be burnt, and the king stood above the window and looked on with tearful eyes, for he still loved her so much. And she was bound fast to the stake, and fire was licking at her clothes with its red tongue, and at the last instant 7 years had expired. Then a whirring sound was heard in the air, and 12 ravens came flying towards the palace, and sank downwards, and when they touched the earth, they were her 12 brothers whom she had delivered. And they tore the fire asunder, extinguishing the flames, and set their dear sister free, and kissed and embraced her. And as now as she dare open her mouth and speak, she told the king why she had been done, and never laughed. The king rejoiced when he had heard that she was innocent, and they all lived in great unity until their deaths. And the wicked stepmother was taken before the judge, and to be put into a barrel filled with boiling oil and venomous snakes, and died an evil death. Oh, I had a blast, Grim. Thanks for reading tonight. Have fun, everybody. Bye. Have a good night. Hopefully I caught you before you left. The end. Also, wouldn't the boiling oil just kill the snakes? So it was more like she died to boiling oil, and she drowned. I feel like that's a horrible way to go. This kills the snake. Yeah, I feel like the boiling oil would definitely kill the snake. Like, Why did we go that? Why include the poor venomous snakes in the oil for? I don't think that was needed. I think that was a little too much. Just my thought process here. Ooh. I keep smacking the microphone. Smack, smack, smack. I think of thee fondly, always. Oh, I gotta remember, I'm not doing ASMR right now. I'm just talking at you guys. Oh, man. Do you want to know, like, the best part about, like, the Christmas season for me, though? It's the eggnog, right? Like, good eggnog. Not, like, the, like, standard grocery store stuff. Just the stuff that you can, that you make on the stove. Where you mix in, like, delicious whiskey. Not cheap whiskey, but delicious whiskey. I have to, I think I may have to either make you some. I think I'd have to make you some. It's one of my favorite holiday drinks. You can drink it warm, you can drink it cool. It's really nice. Personally, I like it cool and whipped. You know, whipped. But I like it. I like it. Really nice. It's nice. It's thick. It reminds me of Christmas. You just want to sit there by the fireplace and just sip eggnog and just forget. It's also very not healthy. It's not healthy, but at that point you're not drinking it for your health. Hey, RoboPro's getting faster. I like it. Picasso. Ooh. I think we can do one more Stormy. We can do one more story before we call it for tonight. Warming up, you know. Beep boop, warming up. And, you know, I can also decide on what I want to eat. Did you have a raid target last time? That's right, you had a raid target for me? Are they live? Do you know? Also, thank you everyone for coming today. They are not, okay? Not a problem. Let's read one more story. There once was... this is the wonderful musician. There once was a wonderful musician who went quite alone through a forest and thought of all manner of things, and when there was nothing left for him to think about, he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither a good companion for himself." Then he took his fiddle from his back, and played so it echoed through the trees. It was not long before a wolf came trotting through the thicket towards him. "Ah! A wolf is coming!" "Hello! Welcome in, emotion." Motion. Motion. I get it. Motion. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, let me finish. Here, a wolf is coming. I have no desire for him," said the musician. But the wolf came nearer and nearer, and said to him, "Dearest musician, How beautiful thou dost play! I should like to learn that too." "It is soon learnt," the musician replied. "Thou hast only to do all that I bid thee." "O musician," said the wolf, "I will obey thee as a scholar obeys his master." The musician bade him follow, and when they had gone part of the way together, they came on an old oak tree which was hollow inside and cleft in the middle. "Look," said the musician, "if thou'st learned to fiddle, put thy 4 paws into this crevice." The wolf obeyed, but the musician quickly picked up a stone, and with one blow wedged his 2 paws so fast that he was forced to stay there like a prisoner. "Stay there until I come back again," said the musician, and went his way. After a while again he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither another companion," and took out his fiddle and played again into the forest. And it was not long before a fox came creeping through the trees towards him. "Ah, there is a fox coming," said the musician. "I have no desire for him." The fox came up to him and said, "Oh, dear musician, how beautiful thou dost play! I would like to learn that too." That is soon learnt," said the musician. "Thou only hast to do everything that I bid thee." "Oh, musician," then said the fox, "I will obey thee as a scholar obeys his master." "Follow me," said the musician, and they went. When they went, they had walked a part of the way. They came to a footpath with high bushes on either side of it. Then the musician stood still, and from one side bent a young hazel bush down to the ground, and put his foot down on top of it. Then he bent down a young tree from the other side as well, and said, "Now, little fox, if thou wilt learn something, give thy left front paw." The fox obeyed, and the musician fastened his paw to the left bough. "Little fox," said he, "now reach me thy right paw." Then he tied it to the right bough, and when he had examined they were firm enough, he let go. Then the bushes sprang up and jerked the little fox so that it hung struggling in the air. "Wait there until I come back again," said the musician, and went his way. Again he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch hither another companion." So he took his fiddle, and the sound echoed through the forest. Then came a little hare. A little hare came springing towards him. "Why, a hare is coming," said the musician. "I do not want him." "Ah, dear musician," said the hare, "how beautifully thou dost fiddle. I, too, like to learn that." "That is soon learnt," said the musician. "Thou only hast to do everything I bid thee." "Oh, musician," replied the little hare, "I will obey thee as a scholar obeys his master." They went a part of the way together, until they came to an open space in the forest, where stood an aspen tree. The musician tied a long string around the hare's neck, and on the other end of which he fastened to the tree. "Now, briskly, little hare, run 20 times around the tree," cried the musician, and the little hare obeyed, and when it had run around 20 times, it had twisted the string 20 times around the trunk of the tree, and the little hare was caught, and let it pull and tug as he liked. It only made the string cut his tender neck. "Wait there until I come back," said the musician, and went onward. The wolf, in the meantime, had pushed and pulled and bitten at the stone, and had worked so long that he set his feet at liberty and drawn them once out of the cleft, Full of anger and rage, he rushed after the musician and wanted to tear him to pieces. And when the fox saw him running, he began to lament and cried with all his might, "Brother Wolf, come to my help! The musician has betrayed me!" The wolf drew down the little tree and bit the cord in two, and freed the fox, who went with him to take revenge on the musician. They found the tied-up hare, whom likewise they delivered, and they all sought the enemy together. The musician had once more played his fiddle as he went on his way, and this time he had been more fortunate. The sound had reached the ears of a poor woodcutter, who had instantly, whether he could or no, gave up his work, and came with his hatchet under his arm and listened to the music. "At last comes the right companion," said the musician, "for I was seeking a human being, and no wild beast." And he began and played so beautifully and delightfully that the poor man stood there as if bewitched, and his heart leaped with gladness. And thus stood the fox. The wolf and hare came up, and he saw well that they had some evil design. So he raised his glittering axe, and placed himself before the musician, as if to say, "Who wishes to touch him, let him beware, for he shall have to do with me." And then the beasts were terrified, and ran back into the forest. The musician, however, played once more to the man out of gratitude, and then went onward. What? What? He didn't even get his tuppence or anything? He just got to do that? That was, he just, all because they weren't human? Really? I don't know, guys. I'm kind of sad. Like, I feel like the animals didn't deserve that. Yeah, they did not deserve any of that. What? I'm flabbergasted. I am bamboozled. I am besmirched, discombobulated. Just, what do you mean? We could have had, like, I was expecting the woodcutter to be, like, the animals in, like, a suit or something. Like, what is going on? That's crazy. Like, you're just gonna let him go on like that? That's great. Are you? I don't know. I feel like the animals should come back with their own. I feel like the animals should have gotten their lick back. They just didn't. They just didn't. Are they stupid? I mean, to be completely fair, the animals were up against, a dude with an axe. So a woodsman with an axe. So I feel like they would be screwed if they actually attempted to attack the guy. But I also wanted the musician to get his tuppence or something, like something, like make the instrument break. Like, come on now. Not the ending. 100 woodland critters versus one hairless ape with an axe. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the woodland critters would win over time, wouldn't it? Because eventually, like, there's only so much surface area that you could swing through, right? And you'd have to deal with the constant stress of being eaten up by woodland critters. Oh. Ah. Nah, I'd win. Honestly, we would like to see it. This feels so nice after, like, everything that's been going on. Um, I really do appreciate you all so very much. Maybe that's I'm the next Mr. Beast challenge. Maybe so. Perhaps, maybe so. The next Mr. Beast challenge, everyone has to, fight woodland creatures. Alrighty. Let's see whom we can go say hello to. Oh boy. It looks like let's go ahead and visit. Yes, I know. Let's go ahead and visit Cursed Savior. It looks like he is playing Marvel Rivals. I know it's a complete departure from what we were doing before, but I think it will be fun. And, yeah. Let's go. Thank you all so much for coming today. And sweet dreams. Enjoy your lovely, lovely day. And I am going to eat a taco or something because I'm hungry. I am so starving. I could genuinely eat a horse. Night night.